Yeah, exactly.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of 321 Sports Talk Kent County. John Parenti, Mike Green alongside Johnny Boots remotely. Ben Barber's on the controls. How's everybody doing?
What a great Friday night we had last night.
Had a really good time last night, Boots.
That was a good game.
Scraped the knee, twisted the knee, walked out of the building and fell into a snowbank. It wasn't pleasant. You missed it.
I was sitting in my car. I actually saw you get into your car, so I must have missed the whole thing. I was there.
John, don't worry. I'm gonna see if I can get the video footage. We'll see.
I have a major klutz, but all is good. Nothing's broken. Just a little twist. Nothing. No problem at all.
Yeah, you don't want to break a hip at your age.
So, Dr. J. Veronicus, you can relax. We're not coming after you. Ben, how are you? Where did Ben go?
Oh, Ben's probably doing Ben things.
He's probably trying to corral our guest.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm well, thank you.
Nice to see you. A lot to talk about today.
So I'm sorry. Wait. Hold on. Go back because we're bearing the lead here. You fell into a snowbank?
I fell into a snowbank coming down the steps at Exeter West Greenwich Regional High School last night, coming out of that game.
Are you okay?
I am fine. I have a little twisted knee that's not really bothering me much today.
Hey.
Both knees are scraped, so I'm good. I'm just a klutz. I'm an almost 71-year-old klutz. Self-admitted.
I can feel my tax dollars going up.
As a West Greenwich resident, you should.
Huh?
It's my fault. I have two left feet.
You got that on? We have that on video, the camera documented.
It is
says
not
his
my
fault.
fault.
He takes all responsibility.
I do take all responsibility. To the taxpayers.
We have to buy pencils for these kids.
That's right.
You know, the tax money.
I'll contribute a couple of boxes of those too.
Thank you.
Just for the effort.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Lunney. Mike Lunney's joined us.
Hey.
Good morning, everyone.
The executive director of the Rhode Island Interscholastic League, Mike Lunney. It is so good to see you. So good to have you with us.
Good to be with you all.
So, quite the month, wasn't it? Or isn't it? I guess it ends today.
Well, no, it's still going, John.
Oh, yeah, we've got a lot of basketball to play
Unfortunately,
today.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's been a really difficult time across our state, never mind in our schools.
Yeah, let's launch this conversation with a talk about the situation in Pawtucket and what the league has learned and what the league intends to do after that just ridiculously horrific incident.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously difficult situations. First and foremost, you know, our thoughts remain with everyone that was impacted in this senseless, you know, act of violence at Lynch Arena. It was, you know, incredibly traumatic for everybody that was involved, obviously, and you know, our players, our coaches, officials, athletic administrators that were there, event staff. Just horrific, and I also want to commend and acknowledge the first responders that acted so quickly and decisively. You know, really important that happened, and then also those good Samaritans that got involved right away. I think that helped to save a lot of other people. So it was just senseless, unthinkable, you know, to be in our world, in the school sports space. So it just was really, really difficult to comprehend.
We talked a little bit about it last week with Mike as an administrator and with Boots as a first responder in his other job. What has the league learned about improving safety at venues? Because obviously we all want to be safe. Is there any best practice can be followed, or are you beginning an investigation into how to make this better?
Well, of course. I mean, you know, we're always looking to improve, and as a you know, first of all, I think, you know, obviously everybody's focused on the school sports space right now, rightfully so, because this happened in our world. But it's important to also understand that, you know, we have roughly 14,000 events, high school athletic events across the state every single year, and you know, most are administered at the school level. And in cases like this, We have several events that go on in off-campus facilities like ice rinks and pools, gymnastics facilities, golf courses. So each event is a little bit different when it comes to how it's administered. But as a support organization, and Mike knows this as being a member of the Principals Committee on Athletics, we meet throughout the year with our schools and our administrators, our athletic directors, our coaches, and we plan for many different types of scenarios, mostly for, emergencies like cardiac events and injuries to players and those kinds of things. But events like this, they're really incredibly difficult to plan for because they're so unpredictable. And unfortunately, this is a societal thing right now. And, we have to come to grips as a community and as a state and as a country, that this can happen anytime and anywhere. And I think what we've learned the most is, since this event has happened, is we've been consulting with, state agencies, school safety officers, local law enforcement, everybody. The outpouring of people that came out to support was incredible. But I think what we've heard loud and clear from everybody is that our best defense against all these types of things is heightened awareness measures. And that, again, the term that we keep hearing is, if you see something suspicious, say something. It's, when I think about our space, I think we have the ability in a lot of cases to have security, to have some things in place, but it pales in comparison to the amount of events that go on at the youth level. We have 14,000 events that go on across our space, but you probably want to triple that at least at the youth level. So this is a huge concern for not only for us, but for any type of community gathering that's happening out there, whether it's at a church, a grocery store. It's just unfortunately the new reality that we're having to deal with in our country.
And Mike, you and I were talking last week about some of the best practices that really don't cost anybody anything, which was one of the other matters that we discussed. Things like pregame announcements and things like that.
Right. I think probably Mike would be better before we move on, just, the job that Mike does with his team, because it's a team effort over there at the Interscholastic League offices.
I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but I lost the audio.
Good, because I'm talking bad about you.
We will hold on. I'm just, let me put up a thing for him. Come back into the studio. Okay, so I'm gonna just, hopefully he sees that, and then I'm gonna kick him out. Yep. Okay, cool. All right, he'll come back in a minute. Mike, you can continue your
Sure.
Your diatribe.
Yeah, that was it. We asked me a question. So, I think what RIIL has done and Interscholastic League has done is they've kind of put out some recommendations, suggestions on top of what's already there, because we already, those athletic directors in schools will receive some, some ideas, some recommendations on what to read, sportsmanship in the crowd and being a good fan. However, there's other pieces that we can benefit from, and I think RIIL did a really good job of identifying that and disseminating that to the athletic directors and the principals, because they are going to host a lot of these games, if not the playoffs, just the regular season games, which Mike had said, there's a lot going on in the course of a week in the state of Rhode Island, and every school has its own different challenges, whether it's staffing challenges, the amount of doorways, how you can control the flow of traffic. Once the people are in your building, where they can go when they're in your building. There's a lot, just bathroom use, cafeteria use. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that goes on in administering a sporting event. And so, Mike and his team, as I said earlier, they've done a great job, and it's really gets beat up a little bit too much. I don't think people really understand the scope of what RIIL
Which is
does.
why we've got Mike here today.
And so, I can speak from what I've learned on my time on the principals committee, is that, they're there to support the schools in whichever way they can and support athletics in Rhode Island any way they can. And Mike and his team, and especially, there's so many, I'm glad Mike's here, because this is a big picture. This is not that incident that occurred and everything that's kind of happened has been kind of traumatic as far as administering athletics. And I think Mike's got a lot to speak about as far as what this weather, everything that's really transpired over the last few weeks, because everything hit really quick.
Yeah.
You know, and so
I've known the guy
and
forever.
they've got to pivot, and they've got to. There's a lot on his plate. Those guys, they work tirelessly. His staff is terrific.
Under normal circumstances.
And under normal circumstances, they're busy. There's never a dull moment over there. And so these guys, they do yeoman's work, and they really make it easier for the administrators and principals to kind of like do their job, because there's so many other things to do. You know,
Mike Lunney, couldn't you steer that storm away? Save yourself a little bit of trouble.
Well, you know what? I was sitting at our wrestling event last Saturday and over at LaSalle Academy, and I'm looking at the forecast, and at that point it was still saying 8 to 12 inches, right? And then all of a sudden we were doing a couple of things. Actually, we had a fire alarm go off at the event. And we had to evacuate the building. And then when we came back inside, I checked the forecast again, and then all of a sudden Armageddon was coming. So yeah, I mean, we have to. And Mike, I appreciate your comments, because I think you're right. I think sometimes in our space, people think of us only as a sports organization that runs championships, and I don't think that the general public understands the amount of leadership and education and different things that we provide. I've always looked at us as whether I was an athletic director or coach, or now with the league now for 16 years, I've always looked at the Interscholastic League as a support organization. And I think first and foremost, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to support, officials, athletic administrators, principals, coaches, student athletes with leadership support, like all those kinds of things. Those things go on all year long. And when these types of things happen, we do take it personally. And safety is always a priority. I mean, Mike knows this, was sitting on the principals committee when we get together and meet. It's the number one thing we talk about. We rarely ever talk about, games. We talk about how we can make things better and improve the experience for kids. And that's our main focus.
Can you walk us through just how you started to attempt the reorganization of virtually every winter sport and its playoff system?
Yeah, so in normal circumstances, we meet with every single coach prior to their season on a virtual call. That we have a extensive PowerPoint that we go over and talk about all kinds of different things. We also meet with the athletic directors executive board monthly. But in certain situations, especially when the blizzard hit, and obviously with the events at Lynch, we're fortunate that we're a small enough state that we can get everybody together quickly. So I heard the word pivot, and I think that's a great term for what kind of has gone on the last couple of weeks. I remember just before we were going to get things started again from the blizzard, it was 2:30 in the afternoon, and we called a virtual meeting of all the athletic directors at 3:00 and had every single athletic director in the state on the call with us. So that's the type of communication that we have, which is great. But being able to disseminate information, but mostly, here's another thing I want to say about that is, as soon as things were happening with the blizzard and playoff adjustments and different things, immediately everybody was asking us, what are you going to do? How, when are you going to start again? Well, we can only go as fast as the schools can get their schools open and facilities be available and different things like that. So it was critical for us to be able to get feedback from all the schools just to find out where they were at. I mean, obviously, when you talk about suburban areas, urban areas, every place is different in our state. Even though we're so small, some people were up and running very quickly, and other people were really, straggling behind. And so it takes a lot of coordination with a lot of different people to get the picture that we need. Once we understand the situation, we can make some really good decisions and get things moving. And I'm really happy with the way things have gotten back up and running, to be honest with you.
I think everybody should be.
When you think about, that this only happened on Monday and right in the middle of our tournament season, it's just, it's just crazy. It's been a really uneasy time.
What's the story with wrestling? Because I understand that there was a problem. When you talk about the
Yeah.
problems that schools and communities face, but there's the
Well-
city of Providence trying to get what they need to get done to get their streets cleaned for everybody. And now
Sure.
you're caught in the middle of that one as well. What's the
So
story with wrestling? for you?
okay. So what happened with wrestling was, earlier, probably about midweek. I want to commend Jay Menard, who's really runs the operations in the city of Providence. He's our main contact with the PCTA and getting the facility ready. He's fantastic, and he got to us midweek, and we were really concerned about whether we were going to be able to have the state wrestling tournament this weekend, given the conditions in the city of Providence. But he contacted us midweek and said, listen, we're going to be ready to go. Is it okay if we can move from Friday, Saturday to Saturday, Sunday? And the reason for that was because the parking ban in Providence was going to be in effect until Friday at 5 o'clock. And obviously, with the snow removal efforts that were going on, we didn't want to get in the way of that. So obviously, we said, let's push to Saturday, Sunday. Parking's tough around the PCTA in normal circumstances, but in a situation like this, it's really difficult. And again, we want public safety to be first at hand, and we don't want people walking on the streets of Providence if sidewalks weren't cleared and trying to find parking. So anyway, we moved the event to Saturday, Sunday. Well, I was driving home last night. I left the office about maybe 6:30 at night, and I get a call from Jay Menard, and he said, the city has extended the parking ban to Saturday at 5 o'clock. And then we had a decision to make again. So it was late at night. The rest of my ride home from Warwick to Portsmouth was on the phone trying to figure out what are we going to do with this and what are our options. And we also host the New England Wrestling Championships, which are scheduled for next weekend at the PCTA. So, again, not much room to maneuver here. We had to talk to a lot of people in a short amount of time. And so we made the decision that because the parking ban was going to be lifted today at 5, that we were going to move to a one-day event on Sunday and then hope for the best. The next question obviously was, what if the ban gets extended beyond Saturday? And the answer to that honestly was we don't know. So we got some word this morning that we expect that the ban's going to be lifted. We sent out communications to all the schools and answered a lot of questions late into the night last night. So our staff, I can't, and I told them this last night, can't commend them commend them enough for the job that they're doing right now, because the amount of questions, people want answers quickly, right? And they are out there communicating with people and trying to get things back online. This is, listen, I've been in athletic administration for over 30 years, and this has, even including COVID, this has been the most challenging, few weeks that I've been involved with.
One of the other critical components has been the elasticity you have with places like the AMP and Rhode Island College as well.
Yeah, another, again, I feel like I'm just thanking so many people right now, but with basketball, like we were dead in the water with our state tournament coming up. If the AMP was not as flexible as they were, Larry Lepore has been outstanding, not only with basketball but with hockey. We're dealing with them on some things right now as well. Larry got in touch with me right away, and I said, what are our options? We were only at the quarterfinal level when the blizzard came of the divisional championship. So again, we don't want kids to have to play without practicing, without going back to back at the most critical times of their season. But on the other side of it, we're in a time crunch. So fortunately, the P Bruins are away next week until Sunday. And we have a Providence College game in the middle of our championships that were scheduled. Larry worked with us and got our events pushed. Instead of going Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at the AMP, we're now going Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And again, every time that facility at the AMP has to switch from basketball to hockey, there's a cost of about $15,000 with that. So again, working with all these logistical issues that have to be considered when we're trying to get these great venues for our kids. It's incredible. I can't even describe what this week has been like.
Mike, take a minute to talk about the staff as well, because you and Tom are at the center of this thing, but there are so many others within the league office that helps out. Give them a little shout out if you could.
Yeah. I mean, we'll start with Tom Marcello. I mean, when it comes to scheduling and pivoting on things, he does an unbelievable job. He communicates so well with the schools, with the athletic directors, and of course, we joke with him about the amount of emails that he sends out to everybody, but no one can say that we don't communicate. So obviously he's outstanding and can do a lot of different things for us in our office. We are happy with that. Then I would go to Carolyn Thornton. From a communication standpoint, she's got a network of people out in the media when we need to get information out, whether it's via social media, creating statements. Working with her is fantastic, and we all know her background at the Journal for 25 years. We're very fortunate to have her on our staff as well, and our admin assistants, Julie Mancini and Sue Borges. Again, the volume of phone calls and things that they deal with in our office in a day. When we're dealing with 100, now that we are involved with middle schools as well, I mean, we're interacting with 141 schools. And at times how many parents are there, and over 40,000 student athletes, 3,000 plus coaches. People have questions, they contact our office, we answer the phone, we do our best to get information out to people. They do a fantastic job. Donna Kane in our office, who we are very unique in the country that our office pays every single sports official from regular season all the way through the tournaments through our office on behalf of the schools. And Donna Kane, who's our business manager, she handles all of those things. So she's dealing with officials and everybody in between. Ted Quigley, former athletic director at LaSalle Academy, is our coordinator for middle school. So it's again, we're not a large office when it comes to other state high school associations as far as how many staff we have, but we have about the same responsibilities that we have to get done. So I'm so proud of them and the work that they do.
I look back at the fall season and watching your staff go through the soccer championships, the cross country championships, and all the other things that you had to go at the soccer championships, of course. Over at Rhode Island College and beyond. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much more difficult was this winter season than doing the fall season with everybody strapped as it was?
50. I mean, really, it's the winter season is actually our toughest season anyway. It's the longest season. It's the most intense when it comes to the playoffs as far as the length of time and the amount of events that we have to cover. So it's important. And again, I do want to, we were talking about the staff, one more thing, and I'm not saying it because Mike is sitting there, but the other group that is critical to what we do is our principals committee. And they are ultimately our governing body, and the support that they give us to do the job that we do. The trust that they put in us is really appreciated. And again, these are principals and others that come together to make sure that we can keep our organization moving forward. They're forward thinking, they're supportive. They come together at a minute's notice to help support us as well. So it's a great group of people. I can't ever imagine working in a different environment with a different group of people.
Mike, you know who else reaps the benefits? This guy and Johnny Boots, because last night the problems were all gone. We sat at the Exeter West Greenwich Prout basketball game. We did a broadcast. Phenomenal game, big crowd, lots of parents, lots of students. Boots, was tremendous, wasn't it?
Johnny, you're muted.
Yep, gotcha. The atmosphere at Exeter West Greenwich last night from both sides were unbelievable. What a great atmosphere last night. It was just, and the officiating was great. We talked about that last night, and just the parents, the players, and Prout came out of the locker room at the end of the game after losing, and they all got a round of applause from everybody that was still there, from both Prout parents and Exeter West Greenwich parents. So it was a great atmosphere, and I like to see more of that. That was just wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I think, you know what? I think that shows that how impactful athletics can be for communities is that it was taken away from us for a while due to the storm, and anything else that was athletic minded was kind of in a negative headspace with the tragedy with the hockey. So this was an opportunity for people really to show their appreciation for what athletics does for schools and families and communities. And that was on display, last night, like you said, which is great. And we want to see more of that, because I think we get too caught up into the wins and losses or my child's stats and being able to put something on film for colleges. We lose sight of really the intentions of high school sports is to really showcase the community, the efforts of the kids and the coaches, and for them to do their very best and not have their performance bogged down by the poor behavior or misintentions of other people. So that's great to see that.
It was
awesome
really a great
because,
day last night.
growing up, living in that town, sometimes I hear that we're not the best parents in the stands, to be quite honest with you. And maybe that's changed, but I've dealt with that as a parent
It
in
was a
town.
great day last night.
Good.
Mike, do you see a lot of that?
Mike
I
may
think
have.
I lost you again.
Yeah, he lost us again.
I said a lot of good things, Mike, about you.
You did say a lot of good things. Yeah, sometimes what happens when because he's on his phone in his car. So if he gets a phone call that comes in, which obviously with a job like his, he's going to get phone calls every couple of minutes. The audio redirects. So
I'm back.
that's it, and you just got to come out and come back in. But here we go.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. You know what, Mike, we say this a lot, right? When it comes to high school sports, right? Can you imagine what high school would be like without sports? In our country, and these are community events. The kids get excited to play for their school. This is a tradition that goes back so many years now, and so when negative things come in, these are emotional environments. It's always difficult to manage, but we've got to protect this because the National Federation has a campaign going on right now called Protect the Purpose. And what Mike was talking about is exactly what high school sports were developed for. It's not to get kids to the next level. We do our fair share of that, but this is all about learning experiences for kids and representing their communities in a positive way. And by and large, that happens all across our state, all across our country, every single day. It's a space that we have to protect. For sure, but this time of year should be a celebration of what high school sports are and the experience that we can provide for kids. So when negative things come about, it's just unfortunate. But again, people turn the page very quickly. I think I went out to a few games last week at the end of last week, and the excitement is there again. But I do think that we have to have our head on a swivel, unfortunately, and have increased awareness about our surroundings, because of just the way things are going in our country right now.
How happy is Mike Lunney going to be when the spring season begins?
Well, I told the athletic directors on our meeting the other day, because they already started to think about, hey, what should we extend the season? Should we do all these kinds of things? And I said, I talked to my counterpart, Mike Burnham, up in Maine, and he said this is just a normal year in Maine, like what we're going through with the snow. So I've already talked to him about some things that they do each year to have to deal with a condensed season and different things like that. But I'm just hoping for some good weather right now, that the snow melts and that we can get our kids out on the fields in the springtime. And then again, we have that. Yeah, it'll be soggy and and but you know what? And then at the end of the year it's going to be another mad rush because then the proms and the awards nights and the graduations and all those things that we'll be dealing with at the end of the season. But how happy will I be? I'm always happy to see kids have the opportunity to participate. That's my passion. So we'll get there. I know we will. I think the athletic directors are amazing in our state. And again, the limited resources that they have to deal with, and the time that they spend, nights, weekends, holidays, it's truly amazing. But again, look, I've always said this about um, being in education and being in athletic administration at this level. Um, it's not a job. It's a lifestyle, right? And I think so much of the people that we get to work with in those environments. And again, they're another group of people that just are. It's a thankless job. And you only really see them when something goes wrong, when a bus doesn't show up or something like that that happens. But they do an unbelievable job of putting people in place, and uh, they are they're like MacGyver. They go out and they can make things happen with very little things to do, but always keeping kids first and in their forefront. So, I really appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk a little bit about this, because I think we all keep our head down every single day and keep working hard, but we never really get to talk about who we are and what we're about.
Boots, final question for Mike?
I have a question, yeah, because I know I found out yesterday that City of Cranston's using Cranston Stadium as a dumping ground for snow. Do you know of any other municipalities using athletic fields for dumping grounds for snow, which could inhibit your spring sports? Has that been talked about? Did I freeze?
He lost. Yeah, he got the. No, you didn't freeze. He got a phone call as well. So
That's
I'm
a
going to
great
take
question.
Boots off. I'm going to take. They both got phone calls at the same time. If one of them wasn't working dispatch, I would assume that they were both getting the same calls. But, hey, Mike, thanks for coming back. I don't know if you heard Boots' question at all.
No, I didn't
okay.
hear it.
I'll ask you a question before he comes back then. I just wanted to say thank you because RIIL and 321 have had a great working relationships the past few years, and you guys have allowed us to call some championship games, especially for the middle school games that NFHS wouldn't normally cover. You guys wouldn't necessarily normally broadcast. As well as working playoff games and all sorts of things. So I just wanted to say thank you for that, because the relationship that we've been able to establish with the Rhode Island Interscholastic League has been really fantastic, and I know that our families and communities really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you on, and you guys are doing a great job in covering this space and promoting kids, and it's awesome to see what's happening out there, and again, any opportunities that we can have to work with in partnership with you is great, and we're willing to do whatever we can to help. So appreciate
it. We're currently in 10 schools, and I'm sure we'll be all across the state, but before you know it. So
Boots, you want to go to your question again?
Yeah, Mike, just to follow up, I know I was talking to somebody from the city of Cranston yesterday. They're using the Cranston Stadium as a dumping ground for dumping snow. Do you know of any other athletic fields that they're using that may inhibit? What's that?
I think he literally just said that he lost us again.
Oh, Jesus.
You're not going to get that question.
Apparently, I'm not going to get that question in now.
Yeah.
No. But I do know that Cranston Stadium is being used as a dumping ground for snow.
Right.
And
well, if you ask the question quicker.
I'll ask the question. Mike, you know of any other athletic fields that are being used as dumping grounds for snow?
I don't know where the snow is going. I just don't want it in our place. That's all I care about.
Well, I know Cranston Stadium's being used as a dumping ground, so
it's tough. It's tough right now, but I think we have some good weather coming up, so hopefully we're going to get some good melt and be able to turn the page quickly.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thanks for taking so long with us. We appreciate it. I personally, professionally appreciate what you and the staff does. You know that. Keep up the great work and give my best to the staff.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and let's have an exciting end to this winter season.
It'll be great to see. Can't wait.
Looking forward to it.
Mike, again, our
Thanks.
thanks.
See you
Thanks,
soon,
everybody.
Mike.
Take
See
care.
ya.
Mike Lunney, the Executive Director of the Rhode Island Interscholastic League. We will be back with more of 3-2-1 Sports Talk Kid County in just a moment.
Since 1974, Bill's Place has been serving up great times and unforgettable food. From family celebrations to post-game meals, it's the spot Kent County calls home, right on Main Street in West Warwick. Bill's Place has been part of the community for over 50 years, and it just keeps getting better. Come see what everyone's been raving about. For takeout, call 401-828-2300 or visit us online at billsplaceri.com. Bill's Place, where tradition meets great taste.
Pocket PCT. You're not
We've
gonna-
told you for years that AJ's Restaurant is Kent County's go-to spot for great breakfast, lunch, and takeout too at 828-4160. And now you'll find more parking, mere steps from the back of the building to AJ's front doors. AJ's, plenty of those world-famous home fries, plenty of parking, and as always, popular for breakfast, popular for lunch. 1365 Main Street, West Warwick.
Welcome to Dan's Place, Rhode Island's #1 stop for amazing food, drinks, and live entertainment. Dan's Place offers a fantastic selection of unique menu items, including pizzas, pasta, steaks, and seafood. Here's what our customers have to say: a masterpiece on a crust. Watch your favorite New England teams on one of Dan's 4 big screen TVs. Looking for a great place to meet? Try Dan's Place.
I'm Dan from Dan's Place, where your only regret is not coming in sooner.
I'm Johnny Mack, General Manager here at Sandy Motors, and since 1988, we've been making car buying wicked easy for Rhode Islanders. So come with me and let's go see how wicked easy we make it when car buying. From cars, trucks, and SUVs, Sandy Motors has the selection you want at the price you want. Get approved now and see all our inventory at sandymotors.com. Every vehicle in certified condition for you to drive for many years to come. Sandy Motors, we're making car buying into wicked easy.
Your home, your family, your legacy. They deserve the highest level of protection. At Lathrop Insurance, we design tailored programs for coastal homes, secondary properties, and high-value assets, giving you peace of mind no matter where life takes you. We're honored to protect families in Rhode Island with personalized care and expert guidance. Lathrop Insurance, protecting the life you've worked so hard to build.
Selling Rhode Island means more than selling houses. It means supporting communities, putting people over profit. We service all of Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and also parts of Connecticut. We're proud to support the communities that support us. You can contact us anytime at 401-885-5400 or visit us on the web, 401sold.com.
Ooh, that face is made for radio.
So, welcome back. And want to go through the Interscholastic League schedule before Mike and I talk about something else. But Boots, that team we saw last night, moving on, going to play the winner of
Situate in Times Square.
That's right. They play on Monday.
Yes.
So the same rust that EWG had and we saw in the first half last night will probably wear thinner with Times Square and Situate because they've got almost 2 weeks without playing basketball.
Yeah, they do. And, you know I talked to somebody from Situate. They were saying that they have a very good team, just not sure about matching up well with Times Square. So this should be an interesting game on Monday night.
Who's he know in Situate? I know who he knows in Situate. Anyways, I would say this. One thing that Mike had mentioned, as far as the availability of facilities, Mike, the RIIL can only do what they can do on a timeline that they're given. So all these opening schools and getting schools open, some teams don't practice because the district has decided we're closed the schools aren't. We don't want to risk kids saying, "Well, you have practice. Drive the practice on these streets." So they might be teams in the playoffs that really hadn't had a chance to practice just because of the 2 snow days. And then if they were distance learning, it all depends on what was the edict that came down from the superintendents, and the superintendents meet, and they all want to be in a similar same page. And then there's a ride factor in there as well as when to open up. And so there's a lot of steps before RIIL can anoint a schedule as this is what we're doing. There's a lot of other people that go into the process of opening schools safely. And we're all for sports, but sports is just another piece of it. Like the main piece is ultimately the safety. And Mike had said this, the safety for all the participants, the parents, everybody. So it may come that some of those teams can't practice yet because they've been told there's no practicing. So
do you think the statewide tournament plays a factor? Do you think it's too much? So trying to squeeze that statewide, that tournament in later on after the regular divisions are done?
Yeah, so it depends on who you talk to.
Okay.
Because I think the true person that really loves basketball and wants to mirror what the NCAA does and how successful that product is with the March Madness, if they're into it, it makes sense and everyone likes it. But if you talk to a team that might be 16th on the, I know I'm going to go get my head kicked in. It's an extra week of practice. My kids are done. They had they didn't finish the way they wanted. It's a little tough to get them up and motivated. and it happens a lot. So the pure basketball schools, maybe there's a few of them who really think they have a shot. Yeah, they're motivated and they're going to try to win that tournament. Those other bottom tier teams that just made the tournament, it's almost like bad luck. I got good news and bad news. The good news is you made the tournament. The bad news is you made the tournament.
Yeah.
So it all depends on who you talk to.
Hickory. And from what we saw last night, Boots, I think Exeter West Greenwich may be that Hickory High School team.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Thinking it is 15 to 16, maybe knocking off a number 1.
No, not going to happen. Doesn't happen. It just won't happen. Those teams are one for a reason. Like when you play a Division I schedule, you're battle hardened, you're battle tested. You might be so if you're a Division III team and you're great, but to go up against the physicality of those other teams, it's a difference. It really is. And we had a football coach once win in Division II and made a comment that we should extend the season one more week so we can play Hendricken and see who really the true champion is. Bad mistake, because you're playing in Division II to get there. Division I teams are facing iron every week. You're facing the very best. If you want to earn the right to play, then you move up to Division I, and if you can make it out of Division I, then let's see it. But honestly, that's a kind of almost like fool's gold, where you think, I'm really good here, I can compete. Go for it. But don't be upset with the results, because there is a big difference. It really is.
You're talking about like back in the day when they had the championship hockey division, where it was Mount, Henrican, LaSalle, and at the time Tollgate, and then for a short time Burrillville was in that championship division because of their skill factor and stuff like that. So that's why I always wondered about the statewide tournament. I always thought it was kind of an unfair type of thing. You're taking a Division III school. Maybe they get lucky and knock off a number 1 or a number 2 seed. They're off one night. But like you said, it's not going to happen.
That's a tough climb of the ladder. And
I agree.
That's fine. Go for it. But just, 3 to 1, maybe, again, you might have some success because they don't know you, and you can play with house money and no one's really worried. So kids are playing free. But, those teams that make it, they play in a very pressure-packed season. Every game for some of these teams is like a state championship with the pressure that's on them to be successful. With that success is pressure, and they say it's a privilege and all that stuff. But, it's true. And then you come out of another division that, hey, we won. We're great. And then you go and have to face a team that's historically in the running in Division I. And I'm not saying it could be anyone. It could have been the Great Hope teams. It could have been the Mount Pleasant teams back in the day. It's Barrington's. It doesn't necessarily be the Hendricken LaSalle. Just using them as an example.
John said something last night. We were talking pregame during our pregame show. He said something about LaSalle upsetting Henrican. I'm like, that wasn't an upset. Just because Henrican's predominantly been a dominant basketball team this year, they haven't been very good.
No.
I mean, they've been mediocre. In Henrican,
the challenging schedule.
yeah, a challenging schedule. They didn't hold up to their Henrican dominance,
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
LaSalle went in and beat them.
Yeah, and in basketball, probably of all the sports, you can kind of bring that, because really, you can kind of make a dent in a parochial school team like
Sure.
that.
Top two Division I
but look at-
seeds are
look at
Lincoln and
Classical.
Barrington. Barrington and Lincoln, 1 and 2.
Yeah, and look at Classical. Never forget Classical. One of a perennial Division I playoff team
Sure, absolutely.
with the best player. So, you don't need as many to be that successful, right? But in basketball, but I think more power to them. If they win, go for it. But to answer John's question about the tournament, it all depends on where you're sitting.
But now you're trying to squeeze that tournament in amongst all the shuffling you've been doing because of the storm and the Lynch Arena incident. Now you're trying to shuffle things around. Trying to get people to certain places and venues and stuff like that. I just think I don't want to say waste of time. I don't want to use that terminology. But in a situation this year of what's been happening with this blizzard and trying to even get the division finals in, it might be a waste of time this year to have this statewide tournament.
Maybe you don't go as deep.
Maybe. You have to alter it.
And maybe you don't go, I don't know if it's 16. You don't go 16, because look, 1 versus 16 in Division I girls basketball, and what was the result? 80-something to 35.
Yeah.
That ridiculous
Another
score.
one was last
Pontiganza
night,
did
too.
that to those West Warwick kids. So that's what you're going to get.
Yeah,
so why
exactly.
even have it? Let's just have the top 4 teams, whatever, the Division I and II, the state finals, and the runner-up. Put them all in if you want to do it that way. And because I don't want to not do it, because once you stop doing it, then it's hard to reset.
And I don't want to say stop doing it,
Why
but
not?
just this season alone has just been a juggle knot with this blizzard and such.
We can't let let's not let that make a decision.
No.
Because it's all about kids, and we are trying to promote the sports and recognize those kids. So I would say let's alter it.
Yeah. Oh,
as
yeah.
opposed to not doing it at all. And those guys are thinking like that. Like, I don't have these conversations, but we really don't too often when it comes to those things. But those guys, like you heard Mike say, loves sports. It's all about participation and seeing kids participate. So if it can happen, they're going to make it happen. So
Kent County is down to only 4 teams left in the overall playoff picture, statewide, boys and girls. East Greenwich plays today against Barnville at 5 o'clock. Good luck to the Avengers and Dave Macarone's team. Pilgrim as well. Pilgrim and Crescent East play on Monday. The winner against Prouton Division III girls. The EWG girls play on Monday. If they win, they host on Wednesday. And of course, the EWG boys who won last night. Congratulations to Richard Grenier. This team got knocked out last night by Pontiganza, 64-46. But nonetheless, pretty good season for Richard and his Tollgate Titans.
Sure. Yeah, I met up with Rich last night after the game. Him and his coaching staff were at Bill's Pizza, and we were talking, and they said that just from the start, I talked to Denny Callahan, and he said right from the get-go, Pontiganza came out storming. They were just nonstop. They crushed them. He says it was nonstop. So it was a tough game, they said last night, and I don't know. They were wondering if it was the storm and the break and stuff like that, not enough practices before the game. But whatever it is, but yeah, they got knocked out last night.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, it's tough when the train is moving. It's easy, but when the train stops,
yeah,
it's tough to get it going, especially with high school kids, because now other things kind of get into their purview. And things prioritize changes with those kids. So yeah, Rich is still coaching, the season's still going, but now those kids are thinking about a million other things. So you've opened up the channel for other things to come in.
Yeah, that portal's been open.
Yeah.
So we have Coventry girls today too, right? Coventry girls against Rogers.
So
how about that?
5 teams. Yeah, Coventry girls against Rogers today. Yeah, that's gonna be a good game.
To win.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So
that'll be exciting times.
Well, I take the last couple of minutes and switch gears with Mike and talk to the NFL Combine,
right?
Which you've been watching like a hawk.
You didn't watch it last night. He fell asleep.
No, I watched it, and then I woke up and watched it. Yeah, so I think it's great. And it's always it's funny because there's so much science that goes into this, and the bottom line is Tom Brady was 199 coming out of the draft, right? So it doesn't. It's like it's a crapshoot. I think it's a good opportunity for these kids to, showcase their skills. But when you put pads, I don't care who you are, pads make a difference totally. So you can run. I'm watching defensive backs run tremendous 4.3, sub 4.4, 4.32. I think was the fastest time. That's great. But that's the only thing that matters on kickoff because you're backpedaling most of the time. Or you're running sideways most of the time. Defensive linemen, why do they need to run 40 yards? If they're running 40 yards, your defense sucks. So you might as well change your philosophy. But the 10-yard, I like that. The 10-yard burst, they use that as a metric. It was interesting to see some of the Ohio State, how they didn't win the national championship with all those potential first rounds. I mean, every guy in every position was probably the top two in their positions were from Ohio State. They were tremendous. They have guys up and down in that draft in the first 10 draft picks. How they don't win is amazing because they loaded. So it was a good draft. It looked good. I mean, as far as the combine is concerned, it's always fun to watch it.
Is it over now?
No, I think today is the receiver, quarterbacks, and it's offensive skill guys. So it's fun. Who they know who's going where. This is like the lying season they call it. Everyone's kind of like, doing the Jason Williams. I'm looking this way, but I'm passing the ball that way.
Belichick was the master of that.
Yeah, he wasn't a good. I didn't think he was he wasn't great at drafting out of college. What he did well was he was able to compare a free agent to other NFL type people to see, and that's why his picks, like
not only with
N'Keal Harry, he
talent,
can't ever. At that point, I think he did that just to stick it to people. But no,
it's not only because of talent; it's because of money as well.
It becomes
what
money.
you pay the free agent versus the value
right.
of a number one pick or your first round pick.
Yeah, so exciting. I enjoyed it. The draft should be great. Patriots are picking way, way down, so maybe they'll trade that pick to get more picks in lower rounds. You look at the Texans, they showed a chart. They had one, Stingley Jr. was the one first rounder. Everyone else was in second and third rounds. So great people come out of those other rounds. I think we put a lot of stock in those first rounds guys, but they're all hit and miss. It really is. It's whether they can play football or not.
You were also watching curling.
Curling's I was a big fan of curling during the Olympics. It was great. It's botchy. You should respect that, John. It's botch.
I know.
Basically,
Listen, he sent me a picture last night. I know what he does at home. He sent me a picture last night while we were doing the basketball game. Oh, his feet up in front of the fireplace, watching TV. I text him back, and I get a text return from him 35 minutes later. Oh, I fell asleep. Sorry. You're tough. At this
point, it's about comfortability. I was very comfortable and relaxed.
So you're going to be comfortable next week because you're not even going to be with us next week.
I'll be a ball of nerves. Just watching my daughter, you watch a kid play, you tend to feel everything, all of the nervousness is not in her, it's in us. So my stomach's in a knot because I think every hit should be a line drive to right center. Every hit should be a line drive to right center. Anything other than that is a failure.
Sit back and enjoy the experience.
I have to be drunk to do that. So.
In the warm weather.
The
weather I'm looking forward to.
Have a good time. We'll miss you.
Yeah, I can't say that the same. I'm thinking, no, I'll miss everybody. I have to, it's a family first.
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link if you want to join us, if you choose to.
Yeah. So very fortunate to have a supportive staff and able to put family first. And, I worked during vacation. So when the teachers were out, I was in the building to try to make up the time. So very fortunate. Westwork's a tremendous community to work for.
This only comes around once in a lifetime when your daughter's playing high school softball.
That's it.
You have to do it. You have to do it.
and it's going to be over, and when it's over, she's going to have to start paying some bills, and
Dad's going to have to find a new hobby.
yeah, and it might be coaching again. Who knows? I don't know.
Well, how many times did you have to go to cheerleading competitions? And see
Oh,
this?
This time of year, it's crazy. Between cheerleading competitions this time of year, between tournaments and each school wants to have their own tournament. And then it's got the RICA finals and then the RIIL finals and then the New England finals. It's really crazy for cheerleading alone. Never mind other sports that other parents have to deal with, who have 2 or 3 kids in the school. But
was it worth it?
You know what? All worth it. And now look at her. She's a head coach at Bryant University cheerleading. So look at it. It paid off. She's a coach now. So passing on all her knowledge to younger kids and a younger group of cheerleaders coming up. So, yeah.
Guys,
I liked it.
RIIL. Thanks to Mike Lunney. Thanks to you,
Yeah.
Ben Barber, for putting this all together. Boots, thanks. See you on Wednesday night, right?
Wednesday night, EWG.
Possible doubleheader. If the girls win today, or Monday, I should say, then there will be a doubleheader. Girls first, then the boys, at Exeter West Greenwich High School.
Yep.
Salt the steps, Jim.
Yeah, please do.
And can we get that video?
Yes, I gotta get
as
that
Popeye
video.
would say, oh, how embarrassing.
Yes.
And a little bit painful, too.
Yeah.
For Mike and Boots, John Parenti, so long from the staff at 321 K County.